Now, some of you might remember a few months ago I covered a story relating to a Romanian lorry driver who was caught illegally removing illegal immigrants from the UK. You know, literally doing Priti Piss-Poor Patel's job for her, at least in regards to the outbound trips. Of course, this utter tosspot was also bringing people in with no right to be here, so he had to be stopped on that. My only issue is they could have stopped him in Europe once he had removed the 17 illegals that he had in the back of his lorry. In my mind, the police and border force have let the public down again by stopping him in the UK and literally keeping 17 more people here at our expense. I mean, let's have it right, these people don't even want to be here anymore. Surely outbound trips are actually providing a service to the nation as a whole and should actually be encouraged. And let's be honest, it's not like we need to care about international borders or taking the piss out of the French by sending them back. At the end of the day, the French Navy ferry the cunts over the channel every single day with the help of the UK border force, so it would be only fair for us to let them cross back into Europe. You know, they help them this way, we can certainly help them the fucking other way. This I would 100% support, I don't know about you guys. Now, I will say, while it is good that this trafficker has been stopped, 3 years in prison at our expense is actually stupid. Especially when you consider the biggest traffickers of all are still importing illegals literally every day. That is, the British government and successive governments before them. These traitors here are the biggest traffickers of migrants this country has ever known. They have literally been doing it for years and will continue to do so because their actions do not affect them, and if they do in future, they can literally just leave. These cunts have their agenda and they have the means to move where people like us do not. It will be us all left here in this cesspit of a country fighting against the scum of the earth that they have imported. Because let's be honest here, they're not doing any sorts of checks on these people, they're just letting people in willy-nilly as they float over the fucking channel. But this story shows something important to my mind, and that is how laughable the border defence and justice system in this country is. Because it is now apparently commonplace for illegal immigrants to hop on the back of a lorry and head back over to Europe so they can avoid the law here and just come back in a week, a month or wherever after. If your asylum claim fails, just hop in the back of a lorry, go back to France before grabbing the next small boat across the channel and trying again a different name and age and all this bollocks there. Shit, it could be one of these 40-year-olds that claim to be 15 and are going to school with your teenage daughter, as I've covered before. Some of you might actually remember the balding 40-year-old in school with the 15-year-old girls and boys. You know, the one where the school actually told parents not to share this dude's fucking face around the place because clearly he was 40 years old and obviously it made him look like a bit of a cunt. But obviously for illegal immigrants, when shit goes south here, they are smuggled out to evade deportation or criminal charges before they're smuggled back in. It says once in mainland Europe they can register for asylum in that EU country. They are then brought back illegally into the UK by the boats that are documented by guys like Active Patriot, Steve Laws and everyone else who is down there almost every day. They do this because if they claim asylum in Europe, then when we deport them, if we actually catch them, they are only going to get sent back to the EU. And guess what? They'll just try it again, like I said, under a different name, age and all this bollocks here. It does say here though, in one previous operation, migrants were told by the UK-based people trafficker that they could smuggle people out of the country almost any day of the week for £300, so that's not a bad price if you ask me. Especially when you factor in, it cost Priti Piss-Poor Patel about 100 grand to put on one of them flights that only sends like 9 people back. Here you got £300 per person and he's got 17 in the back of a lorry. For the outbound trip, like I said, he's certainly providing a service I don't know about you. Well, maybe he would be if we actually had a border force and protection of our borders like I said. As it stands, we certainly fucking don't have that, do we? But clearly though, this shows that the whole system is fucked and the people heading it should be held criminally responsible at the end of the day. Shit, they should all be done for trafficking if you ask me. And as it stands, Boris and Priti Piss-Poor Patel are sitting at the head of it all. They promised to end this shit and it has only increased. Criminal charges should be a thing for such treachery if you ask me.